pure magic. When we did a benefit concert featuring Joan Osborne last fall, Pete not only agreed to host the concert, he graciously donated the proceeds from every book sold that night to our foundation. That was Pete. He appeared here for the last time in January. Actually called me 3 days before Christmas. Said, I got to play you a voicemail. I listened to the voicemail, played it over the phone. Peter, this is Arthur. I'd like to do your friend's show in Ossining. Artie Garfunkel, you can't say no. So we billed it as a multimedia presentation on the career of Simon Garfunkel. But Pete walked backstage. He came back with Artie Garfunkel, and the first of 5 standing ovations happened in this room as Artie treated us to a 7-song concert. Keyboard player was here, and when he started the opening notes of Bridge, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. I've got a dear friend that's here. He's a longtime friend of Pete's, and he gave one of the most eloquent tributes to Pete in the days after Pete's death. And I've asked him to come and say a few words. Rex Fowler, would you please do us the honor? Rex Fowler.
Thank you, Alan. And, first, I'd like to say hi to Gina, Pete's beloved girlfriend. She's here today as well. And, thank you. So, anyway.
How'd you like this one, buddy?
Oh, that's all right.
Come on over here.
This is okay.
Leave Johnny's mic alone.
Yeah?
We don't want Johnny upset.
Okay. Thank you. I'm better at singing songs than trying to come up with words. And thank you for that, tribute. I did write in our newsletter about Pete, and some people kind of assume that. Well, let me start again. We did shows with Pete since 2008. We did the Simon Garfunkel show. And we had one scheduled for City Winery on the 27th of this month, and we're going forward with that. Willie Nile, pretty sure he's going to be able to make it. He has to check his schedule, but if he's in town, he's going to come, and there'll be other musical guests, and as well as his friends and colleagues, some from FUV as well. And we're going to turn this into a benefit for Why Hunger, who Pete was not only champion, but was also on the board of directors for them as well. So it's going to be a wonderful tribute, and we're going to do that. But because of that relationship with Pete, a lot of people, sent me heartwarming emails and whatnot. But I don't feel that I had a special inside track, because Pete was the kind of guy, the first time you heard him on the radio, you felt like you were immediately connected, and if you didn't feel like he was your best friend, you wanted him to be your best friend, and that's what Pete was. He had that non-persona gift as a DJ, simply to speak and espouse so eloquently and intelligently and so selflessly about the music, because for Pete it was always about the music. And that, to me, is what separated him from everybody else. And there were some brilliant DJs out there. And there are so many young and brilliant people who have continued on, not just in the big stations like FUV and some of the other ones in America and across the world, but the little outlying communities where public radio, especially the community radio stations. I've gotten so many emails from the various DJs who volunteer their time week after week, and who've all said that it was really primarily because of Pete Fornatale that they wanted to follow in those footsteps and present the kinds of shows with that same intelligence and thought that he put into it. They're continuing that process. And I hope that one day, because Pete did get some wonderful accolades in his life, and just fairly recently too, for his broadcasting ability, but strangely, there's only 2 DJs that have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of them is Joey Reynolds, who is also going to come down to the show. The most riveting time I've ever seen and heard and been involved with on the radio were the two shows that I did with Pete on Joey Reynolds' show in New York. Those two guys really, really know their stuff, and it was just amazing to sit there. And I'd like to talk a little bit, if you haven't figured that out already. I didn't get one peep in, nor did I want to. These guys were just something else. So that's the hope, and I know Alan and all of us are going to work with like little ducks with our little feet going under the water to try to get things pointed towards Pete and probably other jocks as well, but especially Pete, to be enshrined in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because he will live on right beside, because of his eloquence and his artistry, right beside the music that is already in there and will continue on for millenniums to come. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick. Rick is right. Pete lived for the music. And as long as the music keeps playing, Pete's spirit's going to live on with us. So let's start right now. Please join me in welcoming to the Budarz Theater stage Alex Alexander, Johnny Pisano, and the man himself, Willie Nile.